What's up, lads? How's it bloody going? So let's talk about my last video, eh? I was not expecting it to do this well, so I'd like to thank all of you for the support. But yeah, it currently has 14,500 views as well as 218 comments at the time I'm recording this. So I've picked a select bunch of the 218 comments on the video to respond to, and yeah, kind of touch up on some points that might have been left a little grey in the last video as well. So let's get into it! So honestly, let's just start off strong here with the big timeless. So he said, damn, the side-by-side island is rough. True. I've been writing down everything I can think of lately and talking a bit with the devs. The island graphics have been a good discussion lately that they seem very on board with. I think we can expect to see that improvement fairly soon. The amount of color correction I have to add to that map is insane. So let's bloody go. Island graphics improvement is just what we needed since it came out, and seeing as it's soon, hopefully, I'm pretty excited for that. So then he said Mold Night and Day is also stupid. We've brought that up as well. Hope to see that removed. So I'm glad I'm agreed with there. I don't think anybody would care if the night option just went missing without a trace. On the topic of secure containers, I'm with you. Thank you, Timeless. And I think most people are. It does suck never finding keycards on people anymore. Exfil Zone having the slots like other games was pretty smart. The alpha container fits so much stuff currently. So yeah, I actually didn't know that this was how secure containers worked in Exfil Zone. In my last video, I used Arc Raiders as an example of secure container slots, but I guess Exfil Zone would have been a better comparison. But yeah, a lot of the stuff you talk about here I've had noted down for some time. Most of it I've sent to the project manager directly, and they seem to be really listening to us, at least creators. Which I know many can see as a bad thing, but when the community complains about something, we hear it and try to forward it ourselves. So, I mean, that's great. Most of the shit I've covered has already been talked about with the devs. Now yeah, guys. CWS knows that the creators aren't the only players of the game. If they really didn't listen to us players, they wouldn't have brought keycards back in crates and the game would have died a long time ago because they wouldn't have fixed any of the bugs, but they have. I think the reason a lot of Timmies think they aren't being listened to is because they say things in the most annoying way possible. Like, I mean, sure, protest in the Ghost of Tabor TikTok comments for like Old Island or something. But when you say it over and over again in the same exact way, the devs just brush it off. But anyway. I recently sent over a huge document that a couple creators helped me draft up about a month ago, where we thought of every possible bug, annoyance, and things that just need to be changed in Tabor. And from what I've heard from them, they've really been discussing everything on it. In fact, they've already made some good recent changes, such as the no nades in containers, the scav respawn timer changes, and the removed radio effect from Squad VoIP. So yeah, in that last little bit, I uploaded my video like the day before they removed the ability to put grenades in containers, and I am so happy that they did it. And yeah, I'm just gonna trust in this huge document that Timeless and others have created, because again, creators are also just players that record what they do. And like anyone, they might not like the game at times as well. There's still a lot more on that doc that I hope to see change soon, but they're definitely working in the right direction. Keep voicing your concerns, the team is listening and working hard, I promise. And yeah, I don't doubt the man, as long as we, the players, keep showing constructive criticism, and constructive criticism is not crying about shit so they feel like not improving things, it's just telling the truth, which is what I try to do. But yeah, thank you for the comment, Timeless. On to comment number 2. Monkey Man here says they should keep both islands as separate maps. So I mean, on paper, this would be good. Whoever wants to play New Island, play that. If you want to play Old Island, play that. But in my last video, I did talk about there being too many maps that split the player base. If there were to be 2 islands, this would drastically reduce the amount of players on both maps. Right now, with there only being one real long-range map, which is Island, it keeps the players that want to get into those long-range fights together. Maybe if Ghost of Tabor suddenly had 10 times the player base, this would work, but another thing being that it just doesn't make sense to have both islands. Like, what do you even name Old Island? Legacy Island? Who knows? Up next, Reaper said, not to mention Island is just a huge circle now, so no flanking, no wrapping, no cutting people off their way to exfil. Yeah, this is something that really pisses me off about New Island. If you're fighting some guy, but he's got some fast running legs, he could easily run away in the opposite direction from you. Now you either chase him in the same direction, or you have to run around the entire map, and by that time he's already extracted. Because I hate being on a massive bloody donut. I'm not gonna lie, I was hyped about New Island because I thought they'd open the top of it up so you could see the whole map. Turns out, this wasn't the case. Oh, but then if they did open the top up, it would just make the Orm Timmies worse. You know what? Ban the Orm. Up at number 3, Colby said, snapping Fennec's neck. No, it was a good thing they removed it. It was kind of cool to do, but really made naked runs like super easy, and they are trying to combat naked runs, so yeah. Storm of Sin said, you don't have to hold the NRS button, if you just press it, the whole stim gets used anyway. Yeah, that is my bad. In my last video, one reason I said they were stupid is because you have to hold the button for it to inject. My mistake. Still though, I shouldn't even have to press a button. Meds should be a one-handed sort of thing. S44 says, keeping Old Island but just expanding it, i.e. the other side of the mountain, would have been much cooler because the OG map was just so good. WVid, by the way. Appreciate it, bro. I think that's what we all thought was coming when we heard Island expansion for the first time, then it changed into Island rework. I still think, even if they kept one side the exact same, it would never be as good as the OG. Even with the top open and the graphics the same and whatnot. It'd just be the same thing as New Island of never seeing anyone because it's too big and there's not enough players in the lobby. B Gaming 123 says Old Island equals W Memories with Bro. New Island equals Walking Simulator. Absolutely agree with you, bud. CB Information says low-key making me want to do PvP more often. I am so glad, bro. The more people I can get into PvP, genuinely the more fun the game will be. Battle Killer Weird says, very nice to see someone have an amazing standpoint on this. I agree heavily on what you put down. I miss Old Island so much for the exact reasons you said, especially the PvP. And I never expected someone else to have the same outlook as me, that Roof of Labs was an amazing contest point that you had to own in order to have the advantage over everyone in the lobby. Secure containers in this game are bullshit? Yep. Very, very well done video, my man. Thank you, bro. I'm glad someone else also agrees that Top of Labs was a good thing to have on the map, because if you're trying to get out with some crazy gear and you just managed to escape some guys on top of roof, does it not make the win you just made more special? Because if the guys weren't there, there wasn't that much risk. If the same thing happens on New Island, you could really just walk away from all the shots you hear and what? Cool, you extracted without a challenge. Whether people like it or not, dying from Roof of Labs made the times you survived more special. Relax says, I bought the game in July of 2023 and I swear after secure containers were added, all I've seen are people with absolutely nothing in their bags. It's like secure containers just replace bags. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Especially if you have an alpha container, it literally holds everything you need to bring in, unfortunately. Tenebrae, which is maybe how you say that, says, good news, no more nades in butt storage. Personally for the NRS, I think they should ditch the cap. It makes healing a two-handed process. You can yank the cap start of raid, but it's still an extra step mid-raid. Yeah, I think someone said this to me in my TikTok comments. Something like, just take the cap off at the start of raid. And it's just like, who wants to have to do that, bro? But yeah, fuck the cap, dude. Larkit says, I miss Old Prison. I feel ya, man. Old Prison was designed way better. I don't know why they ditched the design. You know what else I also wonder? Why did they change radio? That was also peak. Alicia says, why'd you not talk about new bunker? Well, at the time of recording the other video, I didn't think it was too bad. It's definitely not a bad bunker design, but it does take a while to actually walk around the damn place, which is fairly annoying. As well as having the traders in the bunker, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. Mixed feelings. Lux says, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. New Island is not as bad. The problem in my opinion is the mountain. PvP would happen near the middle of the map, but we don't have that. If everyone goes clockwise around Island, nobody sees each other. Keeps the option for Timmy's looting the edges, but the fastest way to get to extract should be more dangerous and higher loot value near the center of the map. Absolutely well said, bro. To be honest, they made the island way too easy to extract in. They added heaps more extracts and nerfed the shit out of the lab's roof. Or you know what they should do? Chuck a building right in the center on top of the island. Make it have loot worth crap tons and problem solved. Okay, maybe not like that, but I strongly believe that there should be a place where players feel like they should go for higher tier loot. DeWinner says, I have every wipe award but Golden AK in about 2,000 hours. I like New Island better. On Old Island, you could just camp on top of labs and hold almost every exfil. There were so many silver peaks that just made sitting up there unfair. I do agree that they need to bring back the colours as Tabor just looks dull now. I also think they need to bring back the campy trees. It was thrilling walking past them not knowing if you're about to get blasted. I personally also think that containers should not be able to hold cards, flares, or anything worth over 50k as it just takes away risk. I've found 3 purples on people ever since the stupid containers were added. I'm a part of that problem too though. They also need to dial down the fog. It can suck really bad sometimes. Also, AP should be purchasable. Maybe not like it used to, but maybe at like Shiro 5, you can only buy like one every 3 days. Without AP, some guns just aren't fun to run, like SMGs. When AP was purchasable, there was so much variation in people's guns they run. I hate running anything below 7.62x5.1 if it's FMJ. Now it's all AUM, FAL, or G3. Also, New Prison sucks and they need to bring back the old one. I like what they have done with the NRSs and Promodol. Promodol was a need in my opinion. From a veteran, the game is kind of in a mixed spot right now. You've brought up lots of points here, winner, so let's talk. I agree sitting up on Lab's roof was unfair, but that was the fun of it. Now of course, it didn't make you invincible. You had to hit your shots from up there and not get hit. People act like if you weren't on roof, you're not allowed to shoot back. Now old trees, I was thinking about bringing this up in my last vid. The old trees kinda did keep you on your toes. Felt like anyone could be anywhere, so you were always alert, which was fun. Obviously, it wasn't fun dying to the people in the trees. Containers not being able to hold keycards, flares, or valuable items is a W take. I think AP being taken out was a good update. Playing the wipe before the update and then the wipe after showed a real good difference in PvP. Everyone should know I like fighting in this game, so having longer fights made them more fun than whoever sees who first wins the fight. However, yes, AP did allow people to run more guns in a lower caliber range, which made fights more interesting. Otbola says, one point about your number 5, which was problems with the island layout by the way, is that Old Island had guaranteed fights around back of labs. Now you and everyone else legit just ring around the rosy the whole map without being guaranteed any PvP. Yeah, exactly, this is where the donut thing comes back up. It is just so annoying with there being no main POI where PvP happens. Because there should, and if you don't want PvP, you shouldn't go there. See, W idea, everyone's happy. This comment from Negativity is the Key says, I think that Tabor just tried to overcome their competitor, which is Exfilzone, and it's just so stupid how they started to copy everything when they're just competing for nothing. Exfilzone is just sitting there doing nothing to Tabor, and Tabor is just copying every aspect to be better for no reason. It's two separate games and CWS makes it feel just so similar. This comment is pretty, I think you meant to say petty, but I hope some people can understand this. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, bro. I don't want to say that Tabor started copying everything, but I think they definitely rushed some ideas. I'm going to give one example being the healing system, because there's something in an old trailer showcasing the healing system, like they thought of this ages ago, right? But then Exfilzone came out and people started shitting on Tabor for it not being as realistic, so they kind of rushed that. Or at least that's how I feel about it. But I think what CWS needs to know is that a lot of people don't play Tabor because it was the only VR extraction shooter. People play it because it's Tabor. Now interpret that in whatever way you want to. I don't know what I just said, but yeah. So Zons here has got a decently long message. I'll just read his key points. Hi, I'm a player with over 3,000 hours. I've been playing the game since the beta test and I agree with mostly everything, and here's my take on it. He wishes secure containers can only have a certain amount of items at a time, and the ability to add keycards at all shouldn't be allowed. 2. New Island has no choke points, so everyone tends to run by each other. 3. The way you used to be able to heal quicker and get back into the PvP, especially in a game where every second counts. 4. The day-night cycle is cool, but it does spread the player base too thin. So what he says here is you can have a day and night, but the times go from morning during the day to kind of like a sunset, and night will go from sunset to just morning. So that still keeps the dynamic time, but just makes it so it's not an inconvenience. And for 5, he says he hates the solution to collision was just to remove it. That's not how games should be developed. I'm sure if they put the time in for a fix, they could have found a way, but I guess not. So yeah, some W takes here. We've already covered 1 or 2 of these, so I'll just start by saying yes, New Island needs more choke points. Day and night cycle idea I actually really like, and with their fix to bags, you know, flying away and stuff, there was a couple of problems with collision, because collision caused that. And yeah, this really is something that I'm not a big fan of, which is their solution to fixing certain problems is just to remove it entirely. And obviously, I'm not a dev, I don't know how hard things are to do, but bag collision, gone because they couldn't fix it. There's a certain bit of bulletproof glass somewhere on Island that I remember not working as intended, so they just put some metal sheets over the window, and yeah, now you can't see through it. That's just to name a couple of them. Just shit like that, man, but I don't want to complain until I'm doing the work. I'd probably do the same thing in their position. Pixplay says, if you don't like New Tabor, then don't play it. Yeah, you know what? I'm moving Exfil Zone. In all seriousness though, I want to voice my true opinions on this game so it can improve. Julia says you just have a skill issue. Yeah, I don't really understand this one. I spent the majority of the video arguing for PvP. If I really did have a skill issue, I probably wouldn't have made that last video, because I'd be content with just running around and looting on New Island. Now this is an interesting idea. Ali Dan, I think I'm saying that wrong, said let the heart of Tabor spawn anywhere on a map, and the entire map hears a beating heart, regardless of headphones or helmet. And it acts as a beacon for anyone to find and get. The longer you have it on you, the more value it gains. But after a certain point, it changes color, and if killed with it, it shatters and loses most its value. But the beating stops. And it possibly only lets you extract from one area if you have it. I thought this was a pretty cool idea, but me Molt thinks otherwise. Anyway, this is going to be the end of this comments reading video. Let me know if you want to see a part 2 of why old Tabor was better. Join up in the Discord, link in the description, and cheers for watching, lads. I'll see you in the next one.